playing in the snow on sleds. A major turning point was in 1966 when an engineer from Wisconsin named Sherman Poppin saw his daughter standing up on a toboggan in their backyard. He then tied two skis together and nailed on a rope in the front for stability. His invention was the Snurfer. Poppin sold the Snurfer to Brunswick Corporation, which marketed the toy successfully to kids. Over 600,000 were sold before the trend blew over.
Well, a company called Brunswick Corporation used to make something called Snurfer a long time ago, and I rode those for about the last 10 years. It was only about $10. I can remember getting one and starting to do it with friends and stuff. I was so into it right away. It was almost a cult type deal. Nobody really improved it, and just sort of getting flustered with that particular board, just decided to start making something on my own.
We started out having just little 3-foot wood boards, and we've gone through trying plastics. We're now working on this Kevlar experimental board.
Yeah, I could only use the factory from like midnight until 4 in the morning, so this was probably around 3:30, I think. It took me a year to figure out how to make a snowboard.
Well, we got a Lulu for you tonight. It's called snowboarding, and this is one of the zaniest we've seen in a long time.
The first time I heard about snowboarding was in the skateboarder magazine. We tried to build our own, actually, cut our own boards, and we'd pull them behind three-wheelers in the snow. Down here in Texas, we didn't have a lot of hills.
There was really something nice about that in the early days of realizing you're onto something before anybody knew about it.
That was the days of you saw a snowboard on the hill, like you waved at it. You saw a snowboard on someone's car, you waved at it, like you were part of some brotherhood.
Well, the early days of snowboarding for me was just learning how to ride down the hill.
It was so wild back then and so free, and people just pretty much, whoa, here comes the outlaws.
It was so up and coming and so new, it seemed like the sport was in such huge progression, like it was fighting to get recognized, it was fighting for acceptance within the ski area industry, even to be allowed to ride in mountains.
My whole life was promoting snowboarding from the days when it wasn't cool and when it wasn't allowed. Being one of the older guys, I could go talk to resort managers and stuff and get through. It just felt great to be able to do that and to know you had something that was so good, people just couldn't see it, and all I had to do was talk to them enough and they'd get it.
People that were snowboarding were people that loved to have a good time and find a new way to have a good time. Period.
In the mid-70s, by the shadows of Mount Baker, Washington, a kid named Chris